Okay everyone, I'm just here in the workshop. I'm still working on my electric forge. I've got my fire bricks still sitting here. I'm just having a little break from that because I've run into a few problems with it, but I had to sort some of my knives out. This is probably 90% of my collection, but it's not everything. And quite a lot of these I've made. Now just starting with all these folders here, these are all liner logs. They're actually very good knives, stainless steel. I can't vouch for what steel they are, but in some cases, like this one here, it states that it's D2, but I can't vouch that it is D2, but it's got a nice stonewash finish, and I've used some of these knives, but they are brand new. A couple of these knives I bought from AliExpress. Alright, these here are from AliExpress because I wanted to see how good they were, and to be honest, I'm quite impressed. This here is, and these are knockoffs, right, but these are stainless steel. They're incredibly sharp. In most cases they're quite well built. I hate this thumb ring here. It's actually a very, very robust knife. It's actually not bad at all. Same goes for this. This here is an incredibly hard wearing knife. It actually says Strider, but I don't think it's a Strider knife. That one says Browning, but I think that's a knockoff as well. These here are really hopeless knives, but they are very sharp. And you know, what do they call that? A tactical knife. Yeah, they cut really well and they last. This one as well is just a, what's that say? Oh, another Browning knockoff, I'd say. You can see here that I've used most of these knives. And these, just little slip joints. Amazingly sharp little knives and fantastic to have in your pocket. These were just a couple of dollars. And really, I'm very impressed. A very good little knife. If you just want to throw it in your pocket, you're going out, you just might need one for something. Fantastic. Now these here, they're brand new. A couple of them I have used, but I bought all these at an auction, an online auction. To me, one or two of these do look like knockoffs, and the others I don't know. That one looks like an Effengro. It's a nice knife though. If it is a knockoff, incredibly good knife. Stainless steel, I don't know what kind of steel it is, probably 440. Incredibly sharp, very effective knife. And actually one of my favourites to be using. It's so ergonomic, I just can't believe how comfortable this knife is to use. So, from that point of view, some of these knives that only cost $10 or $15, I would imagine, off AliExpress. There you go, D2 again, I think that's the same as this one. That's same as this one. Stonewash finish. Claim it to be D2 steel, but I really don't know. These are really great knives. But these I bought, you know, in an auction because again I was going to use them as advertising giveaways. This is not all of them. You can see this here. I need working in. but again, nice. These are the same as these, and I think that's it. I'm amazed, really. I don't know where they're originally from, but not bad little knives, just a simple little pocket knife you can throw in your pocket. And now I've got a few of these odd knives in here. Some I've made and some mean a lot to me for different reasons. This knife here, as you can see, it says Texas on it. It's just a lockback, one of my favourite type of locking knives, a lockback. Now this is a handmade knife. I don't know who made it, but when I was 23, I went to the States, travelled around, and while I was in Dallas in Texas, they had a blade show on. This was back in 1983. I just wanted to bring something back from Texas that would trigger my memory of the trip and all that went with it. It's not of any value, but it is handmade, and I really love this little lockback knife. Fantastic little knife. So moving on, this here I've had ever since I was a kid. Yeah, it went missing for a few years. It got into a bucket of nails and kind of went rusty. It's seized up, I've got oil in it, and it's still very tough to move. But it's a Swiss Army knife, as you can see, and I like it because it had the memories of when I was a kid. That's got some value. When I was at the Perth blade show, well, it was last year. It was down in Fremantle. This year they canned it. But while I was there, I bought this Opinel. Can't remember what number it is, and I'm surprised that it doesn't have it written on there. At least I don't think so. But there's the locking mechanism, as you know. Lovely little knife, Opinel. These things, I've got a ton of these. I bought them again for advertising, and I will be giving a whole bunch of these away. I use them all the time, and I can't believe how useful they are. Very sharp, stainless steel, plastic handle, cheap as chips, $1 each, or whatever they are. But I've always got one in my pocket because, as cheap as it is, it's a really useful little knife, and I will be giving a whole bunch of these away at some point on my channel. For what reason, I don't know, but I'll think of something. Oh, this was another one that's in a job lot that I bought, and that's an interesting looking blade. It's you can see a Tanto folder, stainless steel, says D2, but again I can't vouch for that. Liner lock, and it's got this rock pattern on there. Very sturdy, very heavy knife. Nice knife actually. Moving on, what's next? This is a knife that I made recently, my coffin folder. yeah, I made a video of this, so if you want to see me making this, I'll put a card up there. But yeah, lovely little knife, fantastic, super sharp, and it's got this dark finish on it that was put on via gun blue. But yeah, lovely little knife. That's that one. I made this one, this little slip joint, I should say. Again, very, very sharp, but I call this the Delta for obvious reasons. But it was an experiment of one of my first folding knives, where I've created this spring back to make it slip joint, and it opens and closes. Actually a very nice knife, and I'll probably be making, I don't know, make another one like this at some point, but it's got a few issues. The blade is a little bit loose in there, but it's a nice knife. Now these two here are my prized possessions. This here I bought in Japan. It's incredibly well finished. I've got a little video on my Instagram about this one. It's so nice and so well finished that I actually don't want to use it. I just want to take it out and look at it and clean it and put it back, because it's so nice. I actually need to give it another clean. But it's what they call a mochi knife, lock back. It is absolutely beautiful. One day I want to try and make a knife that's got this kind of finish on it. Absolutely beautiful. bolsters. Japanese made. There you go. What was that? That was about 200 Aussie dollars or something like that. This one here I got at the Blade Show in Sydney when I was there 3-4 years ago. Kind of roughly finished, but it's a Kansei knife. This knife maker is awesome. I forget his first name, but Japanese guy that had a stand there. And this is one of my most favourite friction folders as well. The only thing I'm disappointed in is the finish of this little ring here. This here, I don't know if you can see that, but it's very roughly finished. Could have filed that out and finished it nicely, but apart from that, it is a beautiful knife. And this is one of the sharpest knives I own. It's got a hollow grind on it, and I know it's hair width and sharp, this thing. It's beautiful. Okay, now I'm on to fixed blades from here on, I think. This is the smallest fixed blade that I've got, I suppose. You can see the logo on there. It's DB. This is Dom, DB Blades. So Dom operates out of Melbourne. He's a really accomplished knife maker from here in Australia, in Melbourne, as I say. And he makes some awesome knives. I've got a couple more up there I'll show a bit later on. But yeah, an amazing knife maker from Melbourne. I use it for cutting leather, by the way. It's good for that. Now these knives here, they were going to be going on to a website that I had up and running. I had so much trouble with the supply that I sort of gave up, at least for now anyway. I've given up on it. These ones, I forgot to mention, were part of the job lot that I bought. This here is not bad. Now I notice it says cold steel. I wouldn't think that's true at all. I don't think this is a cold steel knife, but it's very nice. It's got this rock pattern on the handle, very comfortable. It's quite a wide blade, very comfortable, super sharp. I'm very impressed by that one. So it's something you might use for filleting fish, maybe if you went like a fishing knife, something like that. I reckon that'd be pretty good. It's got jimping on the top and on the bottom, front and back. A couple of little hot spots here and there, but actually not a bad knife. These three here are a joke. I don't know what this is. This says it's got all these stamps on it, Columbia something, strange little knife. They're all sharp enough. They were in the job lot. Terrible sort of grinds on them, and interesting little knives, I suppose. Now I start getting into those that I've made and some of the bigger knives. This I made not that long ago. Bit of a big old chunky knife, but I thought I'd try making a different type of handle. This has got I think this is the one where I made, I said I put a forced patina on there, very sharp. But it's done via gun blue and ferric chloride, tumbling it, and a whole bunch of processes like that. But incredibly, well, it's a bit heavy, but it's a nice feel to this knife. Not bad at all. Dagger I made, so if you want to see me making this dagger, this came out incredibly well. So yeah, you can see me making that. I'll put a link up in the card up in here for this one. But I'm quite proud of that. Came out incredibly well. What it was a prototype for a much bigger dagger that I'm going to make one day. So quite proud of that. Quite valuable to me because of how well that went. Here's another knife which has got what's tumbled ferric chloride finish. Carbon steel, incredibly sharp. Jarrah handle, copper pins. Nicely finished off. Another nice sort of bushcraft knife. Here's one I made that I call the Shark. I made two of these, one for a friend of mine I sent to England. It's got this reversed scallop in the ricasso area, which I've never done before. I quite like it. It's got my logo. It's one of the few that I've ever stamped with my logo. Mosaic pins, and this resin impregnated honeycomb. So it's honeycomb, aluminium honeycomb, fine honeycomb, and then they pour resin in there. And the handle's not quite as comfortable as I expected it to be. A couple of little hot spots here and there, but actually not bad at all. This is one of the most comfortable knives I've ever made. Nice wide blade, full flat grind. I've got a couple of scallops in there. Looks like I need to clean it because it's started to get some marks on there. Carbon steel with mosaic pins. But very, very comfortable. A lovely bushcraft knife. This one, well, you can see what it is. It's amazingly sharp. I quite like it. Strange knife, but I quite like it. This one I made about a year ago, and it's got carbon fibre handles, copper pins. It's got this blade that is a very strange looking blade. What happened is I left it in ferric chloride. I think it was more than 24 hours, and it came out looking like this. Turns out it's one of my most popular knives. That's on Instagram. It's got so many likes and quite a few comments on there. This one here is also one of my favourites. I tried putting a hamon in there, and I don't know if you can see that, but it's a strange, really a differential heat treating line, I suppose, but I don't know if you can see that. But really nice. Like, if you can catch it in the right light, it is fantastic. And it's got giraffe bone handles on it, mosaic pins. Very, very comfortable. I'm quite proud of that one. Before I get on to that, I'm just going to carry on over here. So I made this one out of a piece of farm machinery. I forget what it was. Yeah, strange looking knife, but amazingly comfortable. Long handle, and it's got handle material that I made, some homemade micarta stainless steel pins. Quite like it. Well, I reckon I could butcher a whole roux with that, I reckon. This one here is a kitchen knife that I tried fixing up. This had a load of chips in it because I used it for chopping out some bones, and I chipped it, and so I decided to grind it down. This is Moranci and Jarrah. It's got this polished butt cap on the end. Here's another spike knife. This isn't bad as well. Bit strange, buggered up the grind on here, but I thought the main thing with this one was trying to put you know, a handle wrap on there, which I've done, and I've put resin over that just to make it stay there and make it look nice and vibrant. Another railroad spike knife. They're all back heavy, so I suppose I could drill through, couldn't I? But yeah, another interesting little knife. Moving on, this is just another knife I made out of spring steel from some clips that came out of a plough or something, you know, something like that. And I've got white liners in here, stainless steel pins, and I just thought I'll try something different with the handle. You can see here I've got all these scoops and scallops in there, and you'd think that was really, really uncomfortable, but it's not. It's got an incredibly good grip on it, and again, I reckon I could butcher a cow or a kangaroo with that. This is one of the few full tang knives that I've made. I made that whole bolster and everything. Sorry, the guard. No, it's not a bad looking knife. It's all out of proportion. This handle's too long, but I've made it for me. But then again, I've got that much sticking out, so it's not quite right. Which has got, oh, some kind of burl on there. I can't remember what kind of burl that is. Nicely finished. Again, very sharp. This is very sharp. It's again made from a piece of farm machinery. It's some clips that came out of a plough. Was trying to make a tanto. The grind lines are a bit crooked in there. I've got this chisel line here, which is not quite symmetrical, same side, but it was a gallant effort, I suppose I can say. But an incredibly effective chopper, I'd say, but not happy with its whole finish. So, you know, it was just something for me to learn from, but I'm very happy that I did it. Have to try that again sometime. And then of course there is this, well, people have complained about it, to be honest, but I guess I call this my Tanto style knife. It's one I made not that long ago. I'm quite proud of it. There's a ton of work in it. Carbon steel, it's got this double, well, you can see it anyway, it's got this double guard on it. This piece here that's been made and put over, it's not quite right because it's parallel, the other ones were angled, but the whole butt cap and everything, I tried my best, made the whole sheath and everything. Now, somebody recently posted a message on YouTube saying that this is not a Tanto. What he's saying is a Tanto, it's got to be a chisel like that. No, it doesn't. Now, I sort of said, okay, I agreed at the time, because in the sense that a Tanto's got like a chisel on there, is a Tanto, but this is based off one from 400 or 500 years ago. This is what the Tantos looked like 400 or 500 years ago. So, and if I can find a picture of that, I will put one up there to show you what I'm talking about. And this is really what that was copied from. And I'm rather proud of the work involved in that. There's a few little blemishes here and there, but it was a lot of work and I learnt a lot from it. I wish I hadn't done the double ring guard there, because it's not right. But I just fancied doing it at the time. And there's a bit of a wobble now as this has become loose since I made it, but very nice, I believe, and quite valuable for me because it took so long to make. Okay, now I get on with ones that I bought. 2 I bought overseas, and no, 3 I bought overseas, and 2 I bought here in Australia. These 2, I'll show you this one first, a little story behind this one. This is from DB Blades, incredibly sharp. Again, the same guy that made this little one I use here for leatherwork. He made this one here, and it's called the Infernal. And this little story that goes with it is he was looking for a new name for this knife. And initially I suggested the Ellipsis, and he didn't like it, so I said, what about the Infernal, which is Italian for hell. And this is what this knife is called. Now, the one drawback that I've got against this, this has got a Cerakote on it, a brown, I think it's Cerakote. Now, he sent this brown knife with a grey sheath. In my opinion, it doesn't work. Grey and brown don't go together. I'd rather have had a black to match the black lanyard. That's what I think of kydex. All down here getting worn out from putting in and out the sheath. Same here. I don't know if you can pick that up. That happens with every kydex sheath that I've had. I really love this simplicity of this. I really like it. It's fantastic. Minimalist, I suppose. This one here is an incredibly nice knife. It's unbelievable. It's as sharp as you can almost shave with it, I would think. DB logo on there, obviously a lanyard. It's got this black liners, green micarta, I suppose it is, can't know. And then it's got these opaque sort of white pins in there, micarta pins I suppose they are. Hollow ground, and it's, wouldn't say it's flawless, but it's close. An amazingly nice looking knife, and it's got a serial number 007 on there. So in this style, I suppose it's the 7th one he's made, I don't really know. But that is incredibly nice, and I bought that from Perth Blade Show last year. Now we go across to America, and this knife was made for me as a custom knife by Kayla Cummings. I do have a review of this knife which I didn't do very well, one of my very early videos, and I didn't really do a very good job of the review. I really love this knife. I think it's like nice big handle that I like, ferric chloride, stone tumbled, aggressive jimping with nice grinds, and it's got black liners in there. Awesome. Nice knife by Kayla. I went to Japan a couple of years ago, and I went to a factory where they make sashimi knives and whatnot, and it's got the Japanese maker's name on here right there. It's got this typical handle you know, you can see it's kind of ground down flat this side, but then it's got this grind coming up to this point here on this side. Now I would imagine, because this is perhaps a sashimi knife, something like that, but of all the knives I've got, absolutely this is the sharpest one. I mean, I could definitely shave with that. Surprisingly, it's sort of fairly roughly finished. I made this damage just here. I can't, it happened in transit. I don't know exactly how or what happened there, but it happened in transit. But this is an absolutely awesome knife. The steel in this is just second to none. It's got spring, it's got strength, it's got sharpness, it looks fantastic. Japanese knives and swords, best in the world, in my opinion. And then this one, this huge beast, can barely get it in frame. This must be my favourite, most valuable knife of all. See that? It's kind of a sanmai finish. It's got the maker's name. I bought this in Korea. It's incredibly sharp. It's all steel. The handle is solid steel, leather wrapped. It's got a couple of little marks in there, which I was telling you about the kydex. We're pushing it in and out of the kydex. But the pattern is absolutely out of this world. There you go. So there you go. That is probably one of my prized possessions. But yeah, I thought I would I've got to tidy all this up and put them somewhere that won't get in the way too much, but easy access for me.